Tonight on CTV News at 11:30. A man wanted for murder in Sault Ste. Marie is arrested in Toronto.
Last known location that we had was that Scott Devlin was in the Toronto area.
According to police, the 52-year-old was found at Union Station and taken into custody. Plus more money from the province. This time it's aviation in North Bay.
We have seen unbelievable and unparalleled growth in the aviation sector.
Canadore College is getting a funding boost to support its aviation campus and teaching people to care about climate change.
In true Science North style, it is interactive. It's a lot of fun.
Science North's traveling exhibit completes a 3-year nationwide circuit.
CTV News at 11:30 with Ian Campbell and Rick Wyman with weather.
Well, good evening. Thanks for staying up with us. Toronto police have arrested a man wanted for the murder of a 30-year-old man in Sault Ste. Marie. 52-year-old Scott Devlin was taken into custody down south yesterday by investigators. Devlin has been charged with second-degree murder and indignity to a human body. The murder investigation began on June 19th in an apartment in the 700 block of Pine Street, where Devlin was also a resident. Last night, Sault police detectives were in the area of Toronto's Union Station where they observed someone matching the 52-year-old's description. He was taken into custody. Sault police officials would not say if there was a tip that led officers to Union Station, only saying that they traveled to Toronto the same day the accused was arrested.
Obviously great police work. As we mentioned, the last known location that we had was that Scott Devlin was in the Toronto area. We'd also like to thank our partners, our policing partners in the Toronto area who did share the message we posted last week to their followers and some of their platforms to kind of expand the reach of the information that Scott Devlin was wanted.
Devlin remains in police custody awaiting a bail hearing. A $100,000 reward is now being offered for information leading to the arrest and conviction of the person responsible for the death of Lonnie Chum. The 21-year-old was found dead on Jabin Street in Moose Factory on November 7, 2023. Investigators believe she had been struck by a pickup truck at around 3 in the morning. The case remains unsolved and James Bay OPP are leading the investigation. Today marks 2 years since her passing. Mourners, friends, and family held a candlelight vigil for her this morning. Anyone with information is being asked to contact the OPP or Crime Stoppers. We're learning more about the drug investigation underway in Timmins. As CTV's Lydia Chubak reports, police say the murder they are now looking into is likely connected to drugs.
Timmins police say 2 men were shot in this apartment complex shortly after 8 p.m. on Wednesday. They say one of them was pronounced dead at the scene. Officers now have a murder to solve.
In this investigation, we know that the suspect and the victim are known to each other. This will be the second homicide of 2025. The first homicide was the homicide of Paula Millette, where Dale Head has been arrested and is currently before the courts.
The second male victim in the shooting was taken to hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. His condition is unknown. As for a possible motive for the shootings, the staff sergeant says investigators are looking into whether or not it's connected to the drug subculture.
The public can assist us by providing any video or information they have if they were a witness or if they've seen something in that area at that time, or if they have any information they believe is relevant to this investigation, they can contact the Timmins Police Service or Crime Stoppers at 1-888-222-TIPS.
Fortin says the investigation is still in its early stages and the team is following up on all leads, trying to determine what exactly happened so it can bring the person responsible to justice. Lydia Chubak, CTV News, Timmins.
Sudbury police have re-examined the numbers and will be bringing a new budget ask to the city's finance committee next week. CTV's Angela Gemmell reports.
Wednesday night, Sarah and I are going to appear before council.
It was a quick meeting, but long enough for the Greater Sudbury Police Services Board to decide how it wants to reduce its budget further.
We want to be good stewards of taxpayers' money, while at the same time making sure we have effective and adequate policing in Sudbury.
The board had already approved its 2026-2027 budget and was preparing to present those figures to the city's finance committee next week. But after learning the city's proposed tax hike sat around 5.7%, budget. The chair asked the board to look at options.
There is a concern, and a very valid concern. I'm a taxpayer, we're all taxpayers, and is there any way that we can reduce the amounts so that the levy is being able to be reduced as well?
The board was presented with two options to reduce its budget, either draw from its reserve fund or reduce a $1.65 million contribution toward a new police building. They chose the latter.
We knew that we were not building a building in the coming year of 2026 or even 2027. We are not stepping away from the need of a new facility. It is still, something that we absolutely need. Instead of us debt financing it, we might be turning to our city partners and the city and looking for them to assist us.
The last-minute change shaves the request down to a 10.2% increase, down from the 12.6% they first proposed. Lougheed says this won't impact frontline policing.
There's a heightened expectation, especially with the homeless program and plan, with regard to a lot of people's downtown's concerns about homelessness, etc. So we want to see more presence of police officers, and therefore to have more police officers, we need more resources for them, not bricks and mortar.
Lougheed and Chief Cunningham will present the newly revised police budget to the Finance Committee next Wednesday. City Council is set to deliberate the 2026-2027 budget in early December. Angela Gemmell, CTV News, Sudbury.
Have you brushed up on your winter driving skills? A collision partially closed Highway 11 in Smooth Rock Falls today. Provincial police saying the weather was partially to blame. Well, the highway was cleared and the road reopened. Police have since closed Highway 11 again. This time the closure was from Cochrane to Kapuskasing because of adverse weather conditions in the area. Canadore College is getting major funding from the province to support its new aviation campus. Nearly $2 million from the Heritage Fund will help the college with equipment costs and renovations at the Jack Garland Airport. This will include simulators and the latest aviation training technologies, as well as renovations to the space to make room for a state-of-the-art simulation lab. The lab will not only benefit students, but other industries looking for this type of training.
We have seen unbelievable and unparalleled growth in the aviation sector through Canadore College year after year, basically now decade after decade. They have grown this facility to become a world-class training facility.
We've opened up, of course, the flight simulators, which is an area that we've always wanted to enhance here. And our world-class simulators will allow us to, again, partner with the private sector for their use and just building the aviation industry in Ontario.
This is the only facility of its kind in Northern Ontario. Dignitaries and residents of a new North Bay long-term care home celebrated the grand opening this morning. Northern Heights Community, a 160-bed long-term care home, is replacing the Water's Edge Care Community Home and is operated by Sienna Senior Living. The first residents moved in September. The new building is designed around 5 resident home areas, which are meant to create a more intimate living space for up to 32 residents with their own dining and activity areas, lounges, and bedrooms.
I could hardly wait to come and see what it would be like, and I really can say I enjoy it as a home, and the staff are excellent. I find that I just feel like I'm a part of a family.
It has made this whole journey worthwhile. Wouldn't have done it without the city, without Minister Fedeli, and definitely not without the Government of Ontario, who have been just so steadfast in their journey to support seniors.
So we're putting more investments into community paramedics, for example, is a great program. Try to keep people in their home, and that's where they want to stay. So keeping them in their home as long as possible, and try to keep that demand for actually being in the long-term care as low as we can.
Northern Heights employs 250 staff, which include registered nurses, personal support workers, and other assisted living staff members. Well, Safe Ride Home Sudbury, students, officers, and donors met at its home base to announce this year's service dates. CTV's Madison Merrier has more.
Safe Ride Home is a volunteer organization that has been operating in Sudbury for 27 years, providing safe transportation as a free alternative to driving under the influence.
It's about delivering our important message. Always plan ahead, never drive impaired.
Safe Ride Home Sudbury is just a phenomenal program that allows people to dial a number where great volunteers will come and get you and bring you and your car home safely. And of course, we as a police service support this because we don't want anybody on our roadways driving impaired.
This service allows a volunteer to drive the person and their car home, preventing impaired driving among holiday partygoers.
Like a lot of communities, you know, impaired driving is an issue. So this is just another option for people to get home.
Unfortunately, we're still seeing roughly in 2024 and pushing close here in 2025 about 400 impaired charges, you know, locally in our jurisdiction. So again, some people still aren't getting the message of, you know, don't get behind the wheel if you're impaired.
Last year, the organization had around 350 volunteers, and this year, officials are hoping to get as many as possible to make the service more accessible.
These students are here each and every night of the campaign, and they set up our headquarters and maintain it, and they're just amazing and wonderful. We're so lucky to have their support.
Impaired driving is something that is very problematic in our community, and I'm very glad that the community came together to form an initiative.
Safe Ride Home Sudbury is operational year-round, but the driving service is active from November 28th to New Year's Eve. Madison Marier, CTV News, Sudbury.
Old Man Winter made a triumphant comeback in some parts of our broadcast region, and you know what that means. Snow. Even in Sudbury, leaving here, I had to clean off my car a little last night after the newscast. But in the outskirts of Sault Ste. Marie, Denise Hunter got her fair share. Thanks for sharing this with us, Denise. We've also been seeing pictures of cars buried under some of the light white stuff up in Kapuskasing. Well, is there any more in store? Time now for a short break here on CTV News. But coming up, Rick will have those answers with your full weather forecast. For now, a look at the current weather warnings we have in place. And we had some weather warnings in the Northeast in place a short time ago. Those just dropped. But if you were heading south, be it for a hockey tournament, be it for just travel, heading to Toronto, be wary because the south part of Ontario is getting its fair share, 2 to 10 centimeters of snow, blowing snow. It is going to be messy there right through the weekend. Moving over to our current conditions, it's chilly. Kapuskasing -10, -7 with some light snow in Timmins, -2 with some light snow in Sudbury, and 1 degree in North Bay with some mixed snow. 7 in Parry Sound, still seeing some mixed activity down there, and 0 in Sault Ste. Marie. We'll have details coming up in a moment.
When you see it happen, send it to CTV News. Text 10400 from your screen to ours. Text 10400.
You could say that the worst is over for that Highway 11 corridor as a result of the snow yesterday in the Timmins, Cochrane, Kapuskasing, Hearst area, of course, prompting some closures on the highway and more. This is a system that's leaving the Northeast right now. And again, things should be a lot better in tomorrow's forecast for that specific area. Let's take a look now at the 7-day numbers. We've got clearing in Greater Sudbury tomorrow at -2, -4 on Sunday with the cloud cover. Monday, chance of flurries at 30%, -3. Remembrance Day, some cloud cover. Chance of showers on Wednesday, and Thursday, some cloud at +2. Meanwhile, in Sault Ste. Marie, Algoma, overcast skies for tomorrow at 1, -1 Sunday, sun and cloud. Chance of flurries Monday, 0. Remembrance Day, we've got sleet at 30 to 40%, 40% chance of sleet on Wednesday, and Thursday, some overcast conditions and a high of 4 degrees. Timmins, Cochrane, Kapuskasing. Well, I'm promising better weather in the forecast for tomorrow. Cloud cover, -4, your expected high. Sunday, we've got sunshine, -5. Chance of flurries on Monday, -4. Remembrance Day, Tuesday, cloud cover. Wednesday, chance of flurries, and more of the same on Thursday. Daytime highs should be at around 0 for this time of the year. Temiskaming Shores, Kirkland Lake, chance of flurries tomorrow at -3, -6 on Sunday, sun and cloud. Monday, chance of flurries -3. Remembrance Day Tuesday, we've got chance of flurries at -1. Chance of flurries on Wednesday, 0, and +1 Thursday with the cloud cover. So even after Saturday and Sunday, your evening temperatures will be a lot more likable. North Bay, West Nipissing. Chance of flurries tomorrow at 0, -4 Sunday. Cloud cover. Chance of flurries on Monday, -3. Remembrance Day Tuesday, some sun and cloud, -1. Chance of flurries on Wednesday at +1, +1 on Thursday with the cloud cover. Normally you should be sitting at around 4 degrees. Ian, your forecast for the weekend, a little bit of everything over the course of the next couple of days, but no appreciable amounts of snow, especially for the Timmins area. Back to you.
That's good news, I guess. Thanks, Rick. Well, a heads up to commuters ahead of Monday morning in North Bay. The city says it'll be closing a section of Main Street West between the hours of 10 a.m. until approximately 3 in the afternoon. It's to allow for the removal of the pedestrian signal between Timmins and Nipissing Streets. Detours will be up in place while the roadwork is underway. Conservation authorities manage local watersheds, and the province will soon introduce legislation to consolidate 36 conservation authorities into 7. We get Northern reaction now from CTV's Alana Everson.
The general manager of Conservation Sudbury says news of consolidating conservation authorities in Ontario came as a bit of a surprise.
We're already very efficient, and the conservation authorities are being described as being fragmented, but I see it the other way around. We're localized, right? We're very much related to the communities that we serve.
In a news release, the Minister of the Environment says in part, conservation authorities play a vital role in protecting our communities and managing our watersheds. But the system has become too fragmented, inconsistent, and outdated. The new dedicated agency would work with conservation leaders to ensure faster, more transparent permitting and more frontline services. In a statement, the general manager of the Sault Ste. Marie Region Conservation Authority says, "We are awaiting more information, but in the meantime, we'll continue doing our important work to deliver on local programs and services that we have in place for our local watershed. We are ready and willing to work with the province and are encouraged with the opportunity to comment on the upcoming proposed changes." Conservation Sudbury says it looks forward to providing input on the proposed changes.
Some of the things that Minister McCarthy said, I'm very optimistic about. He's talking about bringing in new tools and new opportunities for expertise to be shared across the province. Looking forward to that.
In the coming weeks, the provincial government will hold public consultations on the watershed-based consolidation of conservation authorities, including the proposed regional boundaries. Alana Everson, CTV News, Sudbury.
The Kids Caring for Kids Cancer Drive was another huge success this year in Sudbury. Students from Lockerbie Composite School canvassed the city last week to raise money for pediatric cancer care in the north. They raised more than $42,000 in just one night. The Cancer Drive has raised over $1.1 million since its inception and honors former student Laura Catesta, who died from cancer. Science North's traveling exhibit has completed a 3-year nationwide circuit teaching people about climate change. 500,000 people toured our climate quest, Small Steps to Big Change. It's about everyday changes people can make to curb climate change. The exhibit has returned home to Sudbury's Dynamic Earth after traveling to 51 communities across the country.
In true Science North style, it is interactive, it's a lot of fun, and it's also the first time that we created a fully sustainable traveling exhibition. So even the materials that we use to create the exhibit will have another life once they're done as part of this exhibit.
The exhibit will be at Dynamic Earth until November 14th and is included with regular admission. Still ahead on CTV News. We'll head around the region checking out OHL action, and spoiler alert, it was tough going for our northern teams. It was a very busy and tough night on the ice for our northern teams. Let's start over in the OHL, where the Sioux Greyhounds were facing off against a dominant Guelph Storm.
Zielinski now over the red line. Here's a chance for McKenzie, and alone he scores. They avoid the post.
Quinn McKenzie getting the Sioux on the board here and tying things up in the first few minutes of the second. You can see the Hounds there in their Poppy Remembrance Day jerseys, raising money for the local Legion. Jeremy Martin would also find the back of the net before the end of the game. Wouldn't be enough, though. Despite a valiant effort, the Hounds just unable to come back from a 2-goal deficit to tie. Final score would be 4-2 in favor of Guelph. They face Barrie as the Colts make their way west. Speaking of the Colts, it was Shoresy night down at the Sudbury Arena where Barrie faced our Sudbury Wolves. Things were tied heading into the second period. Barrie managed one more goal. Barrie in the end taking this one by a score of, actually, I believe that's 6-4. And a tough night down in Flint where the North Bay Battalion faced off against the Thunderbirds. The troops started out strong, but 6 goals from Flint made it really tough to come back from North Bay. North Bay falls 9-3 on the road. And it was an even busier night over in the NOJHL, starting in the Sioux, where the Thunderbirds dominated a visiting Blind River Beavers 4-1 over on the U.S. side. An even better night for the Sioux Eagles. They went out over Kirkland Lake 7-1. The French River Rapids fall to the Powassan Voodoos in Noelville 8-2, and the Sudbury Cubs beat the Espanola Paper Kings 8-3. The matchup between Hearst and Timmins postponed due to weather and road conditions. And what do you think of these sweaters? Canada's hockey jerseys for next year's Olympic and Paralympic Games have been revealed. Our players will be sporting 2 versions, a white jersey with a red maple leaf and a red jersey with a black maple leaf. Hockey Canada says the multi-tone design of the maple leaf crests reflects the look of a diamond, representing the athlete's ability to withstand incredible pressure. The Winter Games in Milan and Cortina, Italy are set to start February 4th. The Big Nickel Hockey Tournament is back this weekend in Sudbury. This tournament has been running for 45 years, and this year there were 34 U18 teams from Ottawa to London. Tournament organizers have also been hard at work raising money for local charities.
We got rid of the gate fees, which is immense rate, so we can keep our registration down. So the money that we raise through sponsorship goes to feeding the volunteers. We make donations to the hospice, to cancer care, to Sudbury Minor, to Coppercliff Minor Hockey. It all goes back into the community in Sudbury.
The tournament kicked off yesterday with games running all weekend at McClelland Arena in Coppercliff, Tom Davies Arena in Lively, and the Countryside Arena. That's also where the finals will be Sunday at 1:30. Well, major news for healthcare within the city of Timmins today. The permanent home for Centre de Santé Communautaire de Timmins officially opened today. Dignitaries, including the mayor and MPP George Peary, were among those on hand over the lunch hour for a ribbon cutting. The health center is now taking applications for membership. Details can be found on its website and social media. The Canadian economy is showing some surprising signs of life, adding more than 66,000 jobs in October. According to Statistics Canada, the impressive job numbers follow a gain in September of just over 60,000 jobs. All of the new jobs were in part-time positions where employment rose by 85,000 people. The unemployment rate fell to 6.9% last month, with the youth unemployment rate dropping for the first time since February. Finally, tonight, Chadwick Home in Wawa is a 10-bed emergency shelter for women, children, and now pets. It's all thanks to funding through Purina's Purple Leash Project. CTV's Lindsay Alick reports.
We know the lack of pet-friendly domestic violence shelters across the country is a barrier to leaving abusive situations.
November is Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and across Canada, only 13% of women's shelters are able to accommodate pets.
It's over 60% of shelters at least have some form of pet sheltering. If not on site, it is the external partnership. I would say the majority, it's still the external partnership as opposed to having the internal. But this funding that Purina has been able to give us is definitely making a huge difference.
In 2024, Purina, along with WSC, launched the Purple Leash Project, supporting 20 shelters, keeping more than 320 women, children, and over 200 pets safe together.
The abuser is not just targeting you. They are often targeting or threatening to target children, family members, and that includes pets.
Chadwick Home in Wawa was one of the recipients this year.
We were able to have built a fenced-in area directly behind the garage on the shelter site. We retrofitted our storage room and turned it into a space where we put a couple of kennels, crates. In the shelter itself, we we're able to really dedicate one room, one bedroom for now.
The 10-bed shelter is meant for people to stay up to 6 weeks, but Ross says due to the lack of affordable housing, many people are staying over a year.
Support local shelters in your areas and advocating for pet-friendly spaces. Those of us that have pets, we know they're part of the family. And when we stand together in the community, we show survivors that their support.
Lindsay Alick, CTV News, Sudbury.
Wonderful news. We got to make sure everyone stays safe. That takes us to the end of our newscast this Friday night. For the latest news anytime, remember you can head to our website, CTVNewsNorthernOntario.ca. You can also download our CTV News app. Thanks for watching. Have a wonderful weekend, and we'll see you back here on Monday. Good night.